and the flocking sloth grazer, which I thought was those
Yeah.
flocking sloth grazers.
I'm not alone
Goth.
then. Every time I saw them at a distance, I was like, these flocking sloth grazers.
Flocking sloth grazers. Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Starfield with Normal People. We are your normal people, Duane, and my good friend Michael. Michael, what's happening, man?
That's right. We are so ridiculously normal. It's
Wink,
crazy.
wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. I'm doing great.
I have a
And
fake leg.
You've
That's normal, right?
There's a bunch of
It's filled with lead as well.
I hear lead
It's
is
really-
really good for you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. More of
It's
that.
lead-lined.
Definitely put more lead wherever you can.
More lead everywhere. That's needs to be my new bumper sticker.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, if it was good enough for my grandparents, it's
It's good enough for fuel
us.
in the 60s. It's good enough for us now.
I got to say, I've got some really fun news.
Oh, okay. Lay it on
Yeah.
me, brother.
Yeah. So just today,
Wait, fun for you or fun for everyone?
just for me. Just for
Okay.
me.
Glad
Yeah.
to clarify that.
Sorry, not for anyone else. So the fun news is that the Series X Starfield wrap that they advertised just a month or two ago, it finally arrived in my house, and I haven't even gotten it out of the box yet because I just came straight here for us to record.
Right.
So I'm very excited. So
It's
probably
just Sarah that wraps all the
It's
way around
just-
the Xbox. That's the wrap, right?
that's
on
just
the-
her. Yeah.
So wait, what is the wrap? Like it's just the logo or something, right?
No, it's a whole, like, it makes it look like your Series X is completely redesigned
Okay.
to be in Starfield fashion.
So now it will match your headset and your controller.
It will.
Are these difficult to install? I mean, do I have to take this down to my local auto
Like your
guy
auto,
and
yeah.
have him wrap it for me? I mean, is it complicated or
It's not.
Okay.
So what's crazy is I saw the video, when it came out, because in the olden days, like 10 years ago, you would get a vinyl sticker.
Mhm.
Basically, and you'd have to apply it
if
so
you got
carefully.
off by 1/10 of a millimeter, the whole thing was crooked.
Yeah, which would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
Or you get a bubble in there or something. So no, this is
New bubbles.
It's either magnet or Velcro, like where it attaches in the back.
Okay.
Do you remember on the 360 they used to have the face plate?
I do not.
Yeah,
I have a
so-
360, but I don't recall the faceplate.
Yeah, you could remove the front plate on
Mhm.
the original one.
Hmm.
And then they would have like Viva Pinata, Gears of War, like you
Sure.
could put a new plate. So it kind
kinda-
of reminds me of that.
I get it now. It's like modding light.
Yeah,
Like,
super light. It's just like
for
it's
us
like a
PC guys,
sock.
we're just like kind of laughing
Yeah.
inside because
Yeah.
we actually build
yeah
gaming machines, but
put rainbow colored lights in our devices.
it's all about the
The RGB.
RGB.
But no, yeah. So it's cool. It'll look nice, and it's just a
Nice.
fun little thing.
Yep. Carrying all this extra stuff around for your Xbox actually reminded me of a story that came out this week about someone who tested the upper limits potentially of how much you can carry in the game.
How much over encumbrance?
Encumbrance. Don't you ever say encumbrance in my presence again. 1 million kilograms. A player named Bounty Kraken discovered that any movement immediately drains all your O2, as you would expect.
Yeah. But the thing is like I said, with
Personal
personal
atmosphere.
atmosphere, you could activate that and at least get a little farther. Man, that's funny. So this is pretty big news. Will Shen, who is the lead quest designer for Starfield,
Mhm.
is actually leaving Bethesda to join some other RPG veterans to make a brand new open world game.
Wow.
But what's exciting is, even though I'm a huge Bethesda fan, this RPG pulling in this kind of talent, apparently it's a Lovecraftian horror RPG that they're
Oh, cool.
going to be developing.
Okay.
So definitely something to watch out for.
Yeah, well, we wish him success. Didn't someone else leave this week? One of the big main guys?
Actually, yes. After 24 years, Pete
Pete
Hines
Hines, that's it.
is
Yeah.
retiring.
Mm.
I think, hey, if he was planning on retiring, like, it's probably pretty nice to leave after launching a brand new IP.
That's a phase of his life that is complete, and this would probably be as good as time as any to move on. We wish him success. There was a cool little detail that a player named Velvetio noticed, which was when they dock their ship and they're in third person, and they see their character's hand kind of glide across the walls of the ship as they're leaving the ship. Yeah, which was
Really?
kind of just a nice little animation, nice little detail that they noticed in
Wow.
game. So if you see that, let us know.
I'm gonna try to do that now. I'm gonna look for that. It's
Yeah.
interesting. I was showing some of my gameplay clips to a friend of mine, and he was so surprised to see that I was playing in third person.
hmm I
Um,
I don't play in third person. Yeah.
for a while, I was doing it because I like seeing like my character, like the armor that he's wearing and that kind of thing. But I don't know. I just switch back and forth. It feels like playing a different type of game depending on what you do.
Yeah, for me it's since you're at an angle, you're kind of the camera's off like 30 degrees off the character. It feels weird. It always feels like I'm trying to triangulate even though there's a reticule on the screen.
Yeah.
It still feels harder to aim and
I
to
actually
control.
agree.
Yeah.
If I get into a firefight and I'm starting to like notice that I'm off with my shooting,
Mhm.
I'll switch to first person. But yeah, it's funny. I had a whole week where I was doing third person, and then I had that conversation with him, and then I got back and I was just, I don't know, I got back in the mood for first person. And so I've been kind of staying there now. It's definitely more immersive.
Well, Starfield was the best-selling game of September, which
Yeah.
you kind of would expect, but here's kind of the interesting thing about that. It's kind of more impressive because of Game Pass, right? Everybody's getting it
Yeah.
for free, or a lot of people are, which means in order to become the best-selling game of September, it still had to sell a lot of copies on Steam as
Yep.
well as Xbox. So people
Yeah.
that don't have Game Pass still felt that it was good enough game for them to buy it.
You know, this is also a testament to kind of the Bethesda game that everyone knows what a Bethesda game pretty much means.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, yes, I bought the game. I have Game Pass, so I didn't have to buy the game.
Right.
I did want like the special edition. But anyone going into, like, if they've played Bethesda games before, they already know, oh, I'm going to be playing this game a long time.
Mhm.
So they don't
Am I going to
mind
continue to
paying for
pay
it.
Game Pass or pay for Game Pass
Yeah.
years into the future?
Yeah, maybe
Right? I
not. And
mean, I don't
like
know.
so I had I've got a PS5, so I had PS Plus for a year. And because I wasn't really touching that much, like I wasn't really playing a lot of games off PS Plus, I canceled it for now. I
Mhm.
do think that I'll go back to it like when I feel like I want to catch up on PlayStation games.
But here's the question: is there a game that was available on that you no longer have that you now miss?
Spider-Man Miles Morales, I was playing that.
Okay,
And
that
so
feels like
yeah.
one I would have bought just for that
Yeah.
reason. Like I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe.
But see, it's tough because I look at the whole collection and I say, oh, if I buy just a month of PlayStation Plus or Xbox Game Pass or whatever,
Hmm.
then I can play that game and others. Yeah, it's tricky. Game Pass, I just always have it because everyone in my family is playing these games, and
That makes more
yeah,
sense when you have more people.
yeah. So even though I consider myself device agnostic, Xbox is my go-to.
Hmm. You
So
do have the Xbox tattoo, also in an unmentionable place, but
yeah. Yeah, that was worth it though. That was worth it. And yeah, I don't so the thing is I could have played Starfield for free asterisks,
hmm.
included with Game Pass, but
What is Game Pass up to? Is it like $30 a year, or what
well,
is it?
Game Pass Ultimate I think is $16 a month.
Holy smokeronies!
Well, yeah.
So
But
it's
now
pretty.
you can do Game Pass Core,
Mhm.
which by the way, that both of those include the Xbox Live Gold live account or whatever.
Boring.
Yeah. I'm talking to a PC player right now. They're just like, oh
My
wow,
eyes
paying
glazed
for
over.
online. Okay, wow. Yeah, it's kind of BS, but
I always pay $69.99 for all my games. Okay,
yeah.
through Steam. How else? No, I mean, but they've got a lot of sales.
But you're right.
But not on the game that just came out that is a big title.
Yeah.
You're going to be paying for that for a long time.
And the thing
Full
is, like,
price.
yeah, I have Game Pass, but yeah, there's certain games on there that I'll try, but
Mhm.
that like I might not be playing it the next day. I have tons of those games that I'm glad I have Game Pass so I can try it and not feel guilty when
Sure.
I delete it.
You feel like a responsible adult because you didn't
Yeah.
go out and spend too much on a game that.
Oh, and Lord knows I have a healthy collection of digital games that I got on sale that I have not
Even
played
cracked
yet.
open. Yep. Same way. But you got a great deal on them.
Once a game hits that below 10 threshold, I go, I'll play that someday, and I want to get it. It's
If you had any interest in it whatsoever, it's like, yeah, that's an easy purchase.
yeah.
I found a really cool thing this week, which is an interactive map of the galaxy of Starfield. It's on mapgenie.io/Starfield. I'll just Google it basically,
Yeah.
and you'll find it. But it also has maps of cities, skills,
Wow.
and even snow globe collections.
Oh,
So,
that's nice.
yeah, if you're trying to complete your snow globe collection, check that out. No affiliation.
And if you're listening to this, we will actually put a link down in the show notes.
Nice. Yep.
And you know what? Speaking of links, we wanted to announce that yes, if you want to come chat with us, we have a Discord. We've actually had a normal people Discord for quite some time now, but it's getting really fun to have all of the Starfield players and listeners of the podcast popping in to say hello and discuss the game. It's not just for Starfield, but that's where if you guys are coming from the podcast, there's a lot of Starfield discussion happening.
And Pac-Man.
Sure,
Pac-Man talk 24/7.
We will make sure. Yeah, we'll make sure there's a link so you can come talk about Pinky and Blinky and Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man.
If you could name all of them, I would have been impressed.
Okay, Pinky. Okay, hold on. Pinky, Blinky,
Inky.
I want to say, oh, it's not Winky, but I know that the fourth one is Clyde. All right, I'm gonna look it up.
You got 3 out of 4. Not bad.
Okay, all the Pac-Man.
While you look that
ghosts.
up, did you ever notice there are no eyeglasses in Starfield on any characters?
Oh,
So some astute players have noticed that there are no glasses, no sunglasses, no seeing eyeglasses, just no glasses in Starfield.
that is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I feel like that's like an oversight. I think that you could say, oh, in the future we fix
LASIK.
everyone's eyes.
LASIK.
Which actually could be like maybe LASIK just has improved and is not expensive, and so I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see a future without glasses. Sure.
But they also, kind of in that same vein, they complained about the lack of diversity in kids in terms of character models. There's very few kid character models.
I've noticed this.
Yeah, so it feels like a very, like, is there some kind of virus killing all the kids? Because there's just not that many kids out there. But, I mean, most players are not going to care, really, or...
Most players won't, but here's, I saw someone point out that there's a kid character from a very specific mission that looks very similar to another kid character that is also important to the plot, and it's just it's a little bit bizarre.
Brother, sister?
No.
Or sisters, twin sisters?
They shouldn't be related at all.
We'll just slap a different costume on. It'll be fine. Change the hair color.
I find it so bizarre. Like, I don't know. And it's funny because we got called out that we had one review that said, that we were too negative on the game. And I was like, that's funny because I feel like we are just praising the game nonstop. And then occasionally we'll talk about a little bit of an issue.
Hmm.
But yeah, this one seems weird to me.
I think it's such a big game that naturally you want to find things that can be improved, and it's early. I
Yeah.
saw another comparison today. We've been comparing Cyberpunk a lot, and I'm talking about how they've fixed a lot of issues 2 years after the fact. It took them 2 years to come
Yeah.
back and make the game much better. But there was another game. Oh, it was No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
Someone was comparing that, and I was like, dude, remember when No Man's Sky came out at first? It was not this polished. So
It was really, really bad. And there was like hardly any content.
yeah,
And
but
yeah.
my point is like there's a lot to find fault with right now early in the game, and I think there's going to be so many more expansions and things added to the game
Yes.
that
You're right, but I
there'll be
want
that many more things we can find wrong with it.
I just want to add a disclaimer though to that because Starfield has launched in a fantastic state compared to those two games.
Yeah.
Like No Man's Sky, which don't at me because that's one of my favorite games. I love No Man's
Mhm.
Sky.
That's his other tattoo.
Yeah, that's and that one launched in a horrible state. And I know that it's not necessarily the
Nebraska.
developer's fault. I know the whole story, but it launched in a horrible state, and so did Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk, I guess, launched okay on PC if you had a good PC, but it was terrible on console. And it's interesting to see these comparisons made with Starfield because Starfield launched in so much better of a state than those games.
Mhm.
It is a complete game. And this is I find fault with anytime I see somebody say, "Oh, don't worry, mods will fix this game."
Yeah.
The game
That's
is
not the
fine.
job of mods anyway.
It's not the job of mods anyway. And also, the game already has tons of content, a great story. I know, debatable. Some people don't like it. It's
And
subjective.
bubbles that you fly through.
What?
Bubbles that you fly through to get powers. Let's not forget that.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Were
get
you and
it.
I talking about how like the whole temple thing is pretty impressive? You walk up, the doors are different, at least
Ye-
in there are a couple different
right.
ones. It's very cool. The spinning thing in the middle is awesome, but the idea that you have to chase a bubble in that room is just such kind of like a little bit of a buzzkill. Like I realized they had to do
Yeah.
something. They wanted to make a mini game. I'm not sure what their thought process was there, but
Yeah.
it's not terrible. It's just not.
Yeah.
It falls on its face a little bit. It
I
falls flat.
I agree. It's one of those things where I'm like, well, I don't hate it. I agree that like the presentation is great.
Hmm.
And then yeah, you're just, like chasing this thing and then sometimes it goes away and then you're like, oh dang it. And then the next one goes away. And it's very
I'm on a
frustrating.
streak where I keep missing them.
Yeah.
It's either I hit all four at once, like right away, or I'm like chasing around the room for
Yeah.
an extra 30 seconds, which I'm like, oh,
So
bubbles.
I heard a good tip. They're just like as soon as you grab it, just
Go toward the
right back to
opposite.
go right
Oh.
to center.
Oh, okay.
Just start going to the center above the ring because then if you see the next one
You'll be that
like
much
go
closer.
out, like then you can you're already like where you can get the next one.
Mhm. And let's not forget to hit spacebar on PC to give you that little boost forward, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need to do that boost.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's I don't know. It's that term that we hear in the film and editing and community sometimes
Kill your babies.
no.
Oh,
Well, that too. Kill your darlings. No, it needs a little more time in the oven.
Mm.
I feel like this concept needed more time in the oven.
I bet, just having come from the development side of gaming, I bet there was something cool initially.
Yeah.
But there was that one guy at the meeting who said, "No, it takes too long. People want to get their power. Let's just make this a quick little mini game."
Right.
And they changed it at the last minute. They didn't have enough lead time or development
Yeah.
time. Or there was a placeholder at the beginning, and it was like, "We need some kind of like thing. Put
Yeah.
this placeholder in there." And then
I
that became the actual finished
before
product.
you said that, I was going to say it feels like it was a placeholder activity,
Mhm.
and then they were just like, "Yeah, this one's good.
Yeah.
This is good the way it is." It's
You spend so little time in there that honestly, it's a very minor gripe. But I mean, it
yeah.
kind of feels like it should have been a more spectacular part of the story.
I see a lot of people hating on it, and I'm not. That's not how I feel. I'm like, I don't hate it.
What
It's
about this?
not
I'm
that
going to
bad.
pitch an alternate game mode,
Yeah.
or, mini game, I guess, for you. All right. You know how when you get the artifact piece, you get into this like warp thing that's really cool? It's like
Yeah.
it's like 2001 and you're warping into space and like it's bending around you.
Yeah.
What if there was like that right away? You get into the room, you're in this like crazy space warp thing already, and then you're somehow having to get into different color streams instead of
Oh
bubbles or
yeah.
something,
Or
but
or
not like the digipick, for God's sakes. Don't make it like that, because lining stuff up is
or let's say like that what you're saying, that
Mhm.
your consciousness is zooming through space.
Right.
Okay. And every power has a little symbol, right?
Yes.
So what
So
if
it's
you're
like
collecting little pieces of that symbol, and then once you get them all, it joins together? So if you're really fast and nimble,
mhm.
like you can get them really quick and then it's over. I would find that fun.
Yeah, at least that would feel less clunky and less punishing, because you're
Yeah.
still in motion. You're like flying through space at a high rate of perceived speed, or your
Yeah.
mind is. Whereas in the bubble game, um, you're stopping, you're turning around, you're looking around the room. There's like a disconnect between the gameplay. Hey, if
Yeah.
you guys have a alternative to the bubble game for the
Yes.
powers, type it in the comments on our YouTube channel or
Or
hit us up
yeah.
in Discord. I mean,
Pop in the Discord, go to our Starfield discussion link,
mhm.
and yes, tell us what your idea would be for a better power mini game.
Remember the angry video game nerd? Did you ever watch
Yeah.
his? I feel like he could do an episode on that. I just see his like face and his mouth like dropping open when he's like getting mad or frustrated.
What about okay? Not to stay on this. I feel like we could do a whole hour on this. But what if, like, remember when you go to learn dragon shouts, and like to learn the first one, you have to do it
Hmm.
at someone. Like, what if and I think they do it to you, like they're like they foos at you or
Yes.
whatever, right? And you have to do it at one of them. So why isn't it that you go, and to get the rings to do what they do, like maybe you're temporarily given this power
And it
and you have
would
to
teach you
activate
how
that
to
power.
use it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and you would remember what that power. I love this idea. You would remember what the power is, because I have 4 powers now. I'm very early in the game, and I never use them
I have like
because
25.
Michael has 25.
I don't know how
There
many.
must be
It's a
some
lot.
cool ones in there. The first 4 are
They're
not
okay.
great, but like, yeah, I mean, I would remember. Oh yeah, from the training session, aka the game, to get the power move.
Yeah.
I remembered, and then I'd be like, oh, this is a situation where I could use it. Yes, you should have
I
been a game
I
designer.
don't come on, hire
It's
me.
not too late.
That'd be yeah, that'd be cool. That would be awesome. Oh well. We got what we
Yeah.
got. You know, and I sometimes I'll comment and I'll say, like, I think it's okay to come up with ideas where what it could be. There's sometimes where I just say, you know what? I'm playing the game that exists,
Hmm.
and that's the game that's in front of me, and that's what I'm playing. So
Yeah. And again, it's a very small part of the game. Most of the time, you're getting scanned for contraband.
yeah. Speaking of contraband, I read the funniest thing about how to smuggle items.
Mm.
Okay. And I'm going to tell you, it's a little bit of a cheat in the game, but I don't I don't dislike this cheat.
Yeah. Again, if in my mind, if it involves actual game physics or game mechanics, it's not a cheat. Is it an exploit? Kind of, but I mean, I think that's what makes these games fun is figuring out using the game mechanics, the game physics to do funny stuff or unexpected things.
Absolutely. So on Reddit, a user named Zamura Pi actually talked about contraband smuggling and how a shielded cargo plus the payload's skill. And if you have the jammer, you basically can raise it up to a 96% chance to evade
Wow.
scans. But there's still that 4% chance. And
Mm.
let's say you don't have those things. Well,
Are
here's
you
how you
unlucky? Don't do this. Are you the cooler?
you know how you can have your crewmates carry stuff.
Mhm.
Basically, you load up a crewmate with contraband. Then you dismiss them from your ship. They will find their way back home. Then you go to wherever you want to go and evade the scan. Whoop, you don't have any contraband. You park, you get out, and then you reassign that person to your ship. They will find their way back to you. And now you have all the contraband.
Brilliant.
So what's funny is you're
You
turning
still
your
got that stuff
crew.
on you that I gave you earlier?
Yeah. You're basically turning your crew into drug mules,
Perfect.
which I find
Finally, they're
so
good for
funny.
something.
Now, here's the thing. We talked about this, right? It's kind of a cheat, except this I can see happening in the universe
Mhm.
where they find a different way to the planet. You go in a
Right.
smaller
It
ship,
could happen
whatever.
in the game universe. So players should not have issue,
They
is
should
what you're
not
saying.
have issues. So
I
thank you for
agree.
that tip. That is hilarious.
Speaking of contraband, I found a tip where if you have a ton of contraband to sell and the vendor it only has like 11,000 credits or something like that,
Yeah, if you're lucky.
you
Yeah.
can drop all the contraband on the ground right there and then leave, go sleep or whatever, come back, and it's still just hanging out on the ground, and then you can pick it up and resell it.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a pretty good like clutter lasts in this game. I've been
that's
seeing a lot of
true.
videos like there was like trends with potatoes and things like that and toilet
Sure.
paper, but now I'm seeing trends of people just filling spaces. Like someone filled up the lodge with just stuff, and like the lodge is filled with NPCs, so they're always like walking around like fighting through all these piles of like garbage.
It's like you can turn Starfield into an episode of Hoarders.
Yeah. That's what it felt like. Like I was cringing the whole time because I am very like I hate clutter.
Yeah.
So
That's
like
funny.
Hoarders, that TV show just made me sick to my stomach to
Yeah.
watch that. Like
Yeah.
nasty.
It's awful. It's awful. That's
Except for
funny.
my dungeon where I keep my victims. All my clutter.
Yeah. I mean, well, you got to have somewhere to put it.
Last week, Michael, we introduced a new audience participation thing called the Starfield Adventure Club, and I am absolutely thrilled with all the stories we've gotten.
Yeah.
Just really cool. Like it far exceeded my expectations.
I
And
agree.
every
Yeah.
day I was kind of either logging into Discord or going onto YouTube looking for new comments. And there's some really, really great stories. We want to shout out some of the stories and tell you some of the stories here. And
Yeah,
if
and
you're
thank you, anyone who sent in a story. If anyone is hearing this and are a little confused, basically, Dwayne and I picked a planet, and we just said, "Hey, we're all going here. Tell us a story, or just tell us what you found."
Mhm.
And yeah, some people just basically gave us, some gameplay, like this is what I did. This is what I saw. Some people really committed to like a captain's log style bit.
Mhm.
So I was very entertained. You all are amazing.
Absolutely. And what was cool for me was I waited until literally earlier today to go and do Vega 2C. And then I had read all these stories that y'all submitted. And so I was looking around for like some of the stuff that people found,
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
sure enough, I found the crocoducks, as I'm calling them. I, I think they're called something else, but
They're like crocodonts, but you're right.
crocodonts.
They got those big beaks and
Hmm.
yeah.
A
Yeah.
crocoduck, and the flocking sloth grazer, which I thought was those flocking
Okay.
sloth grazers,
I'm not alone
goth,
then. Every time I saw them in a distance, I was like, these flocking
these flocking
sloth grazers.
flocking sloth grazers.
So funny.
But yeah, I think it was weird. It was a weird sensation because Starfield is a single player game,
Yeah.
and people you don't when you go to all these different planets and whatever, there's not really a sense of hanging out or doing it kind of with friends, I guess. So I think this
Right.
actually created that for me, which I thought was really fun.
That is spot on. I felt the same way.
Yeah. What was your experience when you went there to Vega to see?
So I'm gonna keep mine real short so
Okay.
that we can get to the amazing submissions we had.
Sure.
But what was interesting was this was actually the first planet where I landed in a plateau biome.
Hmm.
So I hadn't seen this before. And I have two thoughts on that. Number one, very cool look. Number two, frustrating if you're trying to jetpack over it. And if you're like me and you're rocking a skip jetpack,
Mm.
I couldn't, I had
Because
to
it has
go
that
around.
edge that just goes
It's
straight
way
up.
too steep.
Yeah.
It's so
So I
steep.
think I landed next to one because the
Okay.
first thing I did was I saw some of these flocking sloth grazers, and I had been watching these tips of how just taking out all these herds gets you quick XP. And sure enough, I'm
Yeah.
start racking up the XP. But problem was like I boosted up the side of this plateau, and I get to about 80% up the side, and
Yeah.
my boost runs out, and that's where the herd was at the top.
Oh,
So then
wow.
I stop. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let my boost recharge, and I start slipping down the side, and then it just wouldn't let me. Like there was some kind of glitch. It
Yeah.
wouldn't let me boost again because I was
Oh,
stuck in the falling
yeah. Oh,
animation.
and Bethesda doesn't like to let you jump off of like they want you to have sure footing
Right.
to jump off of
This was
something.
not sure footing at all. But the weird thing is, what Sarah was sure footed because she stayed at near the top and started taking out the flocking
Oh.
grazers. And then they all started roll once she killed them, they started rolling down the mountain.
Oh, no
And
way.
then so
Oh.
I was slowly sliding down. I was probably about, halfway down by now, back to where my ship was, and the here come these giant rolling dinosaurs down the side of the plateau, and
She
I'm
was trying to take out Simba's dad with those flocking
Scar.
sloth.
And I quickly would like kind of scoot over and loot them as she dropped. There was like three or four where I was able to
Oh,
loot them as they
man.
rolled past me. And I have a young daughter. She walked in and she's like, "What in the world is this?" Like, are there rolling dinosaurs? But
That's
yeah.
funny. Yeah, I had almost like a little nature program because I saw like 20 flocking star sloth grazers. That's
Mm.
tough to say.
Flocking.
I saw like 20 in one spot, and they were actually flocking. They were going from one place to another,
Hmm.
and it was so like a David Attenborough documentary because
Right.
I just was watching them move together, and then the two crocodons came in and attacked them
Hmm.
like lions. And I was like, this is where like to me this is where the game really shines, where you
Definitely.
see like it's like you're
You can
watching
just kind of sit
nature.
back and watch this, which you don't
Yeah.
typically do in a video game because it's not that interesting. But
Yeah.
this is actually interesting.
And I was going to do this with No Man's Sky like last year. And I think I had mentioned to you, I had this idea for a nature documentary.
Hmm.
And
As
then
a video,
we
yeah.
actually, as a video, yeah, as a video on YouTube. And then we actually found somebody that was doing that.
There's a whole
There's a
dedicated
whole
YouTube channel.
channel.
He doesn't
Yeah.
have a lot of subs, right? But it's like actually really well
It
done.
was real. It's like
Yeah.
it's one of those things where it's really
We should
well
link that in there.
done. Yeah. But it doesn't. He wasn't getting a ton of views, but he kept doing it. So like kudos to him. But
Mhm.
I almost want to do that for Starfield now.
Yeah,
but yeah.
nature docs. It would make a great base game to do
Yeah.
that with.
I think so.
He probably already has videos of it up as we speak.
Maybe if he's he's doing Starfield, I wouldn't be surprised.
Should we shout out Super Dave and Friends 7427?
Yeah.
Who left a awesome story. Go and read it. Is that one? That one's on our YouTube channel.
So that's on our YouTube channel.
He started sleep teaching abstract algebra again.
There was this whole story about needing a nap and nap time. This is the one I was talking about where it's done sort of captain's log type of thing. And I'm just going to read an excerpt. I want to do this in a dramatic voice.
Oh,
okay.
Let me get my popcorn.
Yeah. So I'll just do this.
By popcorn, I mean beer.
So it starts, Super Dave says, we sat down on LV 426. One of our crew members, no, wait, sorry. Andrasia and I sat down on Vega 2C near an industrial outpost. We found a cold, desolate, lifeless moon in need of some exploring and maybe a tree or two. As is tradition, we forgot to take a nap before leaving the false dawn. That must be a ship name. And hurried off towards the outpost without any XP buffs. What we found was terrifying. That's all I'm going to do for now. But yes, go to our YouTube channel. That's where Super Dave wrote that. And read. He's got a part 1 and he's got a part 2. Very worth reading. Won't take too much of your time.
All right, we had an excellent comment from Demon of Saints 32. They talked about just how much loot they got. They got tons of credits and a new Varun ship.
Yeah, which is awesome. Yeah. I don't think I've got. I don't think I even had a chance to get one of those yet.
Yeah, me either. But I did score a ton of credits. Like the first thing I found was just one of those big yellow chests that was, I don't know, had thousands of credits in it. I was
nice.
Like, dang, nice. I'll take it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a few elliptical baddies were there, which actually one of them had an epic drop as well. So I cleaned up in like the first 3 kills.
That's nice. Yeah, Demon of Saints sounds like he almost made the wildlife go extinct on that planet.
Well done, Demon.
Yeah, good job. And then, hopping from our YouTube channel over to our Discord, I have to say, here's what is really nice about the Discord. We've got people sharing screenshots too. And we didn't even ask for that, but I appreciate it. It's really nice. We had Travel Monkey pop in and say that the very last scan of a creature on Vega 2C was the one that nudged him over to level 50.
Oh, good.
So that's fun. That's really nice. I'm glad that we, in a small way, were part of that level 50 achievement.
You know the Joe Biden I did that stickers? I did that. I got you to level 50. You're welcome.
That's right.
I bumped up a level 2 when I was there.
Oh, so, nice. Yeah.
You're in good company, my friend. It's hard not to when there's just, so many flocking grazers.
Flocking grazers.
Sheesh, goth grazers.
Sloth grazers. So thanks to also Chaos Routine popping in and saying that most of his wildlife were wary or defensive and not aggressive, which is interesting. The crocodiles for me were very aggressive.
Yeah. And even the grazers, if you got real close to one, I just walked right up to one and it turned. It came toward me and then it did attack.
Yeah.
But typically they would try to run away. Like if you shot one, unless it was like agitated. It was weird. They did both. Like the herd would run, but then also some of them, if they were mildly hurt, would then try to attack you.
Yeah.
But then if they were majorly hurt, they'd be like limping away. So I almost felt bad taking them all out.
So I'm experiencing a bug. So without going into spoilers, anyone who has done the UC Vanguard mission, which Duane, you have not.
I have not.
Okay. You get a device, I guess, that beeps to warn you of a certain danger. And
The microwavable chicken is done.
Yeah.
That's the beep, right?
It's all
Beep, beep,
finished.
beep.
And I keep getting the beep. And so this was happening on Vega 2C, but it's happened to me on other planets as well. I'll get the beep, and it's like I get the sense that this danger is getting closer, and then it just stops. And it's a bummer because like I'm ready. I'm ready for the danger, and then it doesn't happen. So I don't know. Hit me up in our Discord if you have this glitch as well. I'm pretty sure it's a
15
glitch.
meters, 10 meters. That's in the room. I'm
Yeah.
telling you, man.
Game over.
Game over, man.
It's yeah,
It's like that,
exactly.
right?
It's so definitely inspired by Alien, or Aliens, I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. It's I feel like it's a glitch. It's very frustrating. So that was happening to me. Actually, I was hearing also the scream sound of this particular danger in the forest. And I was
That's unsettling.
I was looking for it. It's very unsettling
Mm-hmm.
of a sound. But yeah, no, I don't know. It wasn't there.
I had a glitch like that. I'm not sure if I said this on a previous podcast, but it was the mission where you infiltrate the Crimson fleet.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're taking the supplies, and you go meet that freighter. The just non-named NPC says, "We need to take these we need these supplies." Something along that line.
Oh, yeah.
I was getting that everywhere I went, like no matter just random, like Paradiso.
Just
And then
every NPC was saying the same thing.
Not every single one, but like easily half of them.
Wow.
So it was so annoying. And then I went back. I just had to finish the quest, and then it fixed it. I was like, thank God it fixed it.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, but you finished that quest for the beep thing a long time ago, right?
Yeah, but it's still like if it worked properly, it would still be a great like thing to have, because then you know about this danger anytime it's happening.
I see.
Like
well, perhaps it is a bug, and they'll address it, and like maybe it's a known issue, and they'll get to it.
Yeah, definitely.
That does sound annoying. We had a fantastic comment from Turok Dinosaur Hunter. I love how he started off naming his ship the Neckbeard 6.
Yeah, that made me
which
laugh.
Would mean he had 5 previous versions, I guess.
Yeah.
But he talked about very descriptively some trees that he saw that looked like they were right out of a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah, I appreciated this level of descriptive writing.
And he also supplied a couple screenshots, which was awesome. So shout out to Turok. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and then after that, Bondo Calrissian popped into popped into the Discord, and here's what I like about the screenshot. Bondo didn't share a story, but hey, they went and they experienced it, and they were like, "I was here. Here's a beautiful screenshot." And now it's like opened my eyes to invite people. Hey, you don't have to write something. You know, just share a screenshot. You know, your favorite screenshot. Like I'm down with that as well. So to everyone that submitted stories and comments and anecdotes and screenshots, thank you so much. All right, so this was a lot of fun, and I get to pick the planet that we're going to this next week. And hey, there's a system. In the bottom right section of the map, there's a system called Nirvana. They're a great band, right?
They were.
Yeah, long time ago. So we're going to go to the Nirvana system, and the planet that we're all going to go to is Nirvana 2.
Yeah, and come as you are.
Come as you are, yeah. Here
we
like
are now.
Flocking
herder spirit.
Here we are now entertained. Yeah. So head on down to that planet. I sound like inviting people down to the store.
Come on down.
The local general store. Come on down to Nirvana 2.
I'm excited. Nirvana 2, it's rock. It's a rocky planet like Earth, but it's temperate, and there's going to be a lot of animals.
There's a lot of
fauna and flora.
A lot of fauna there. A lot of magnetosphere.
You know what the description for the water is? Heavy metal, but it should have been alternative.
Oh, that's right. It does say that. We're looking at it right now. Yep, the water says heavy metal. Oh, that's funny.
Grunge. Think
That's
you'll find some
right.
grungy bases
That's
there?
right. It was called grunge. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Not much grunge these days.
Nope.
That's over.
Bring it back.
It'll come back like everything else.
Mm-hmm. Thanks to everyone that listens on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, and thank you to those watching on YouTube. All links are provided in the show notes below.
Yes, and an extra special thanks for comments and feedback. If you have a comment, suggestion, or an in-game story to share, you can leave a comment on our YouTube page or come chat with us in the Discord.
Definitely. And if you like the show, consider dropping a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That would really help us.
It would. Thanks, everyone, for traveling the Starfield with us. Make sure that you subscribe because we will be back for more next week.
We'll see you then.
Yeah.